minutes and adding to...
Speaker, my question is for the Premier. Premier, your predecessor, who graced us with his presence yesterday for the first time since prorogation, sliced and diced the Taxpayer Protection Act every time he felt like raising taxes or introducing a new tax, which he did often. But at least when the member for Ottawa South was Premier, he had gone to the electorate and was given a mandate, even though keeping his promises was not his strong suit. Premier, the people of Ontario haven't given you a mandate. You've been selected, not elected. Will you show the voters of Ontario respect by supporting legislation to strengthen the Taxpayer Protection Act and realize that you need to have a conversation with the people of Ontario before you raise new taxes or find new revenue tools?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So I'm going to dig down into that question and assume that the concern from the member is that we might actually commit to building transit in the province of Ontario over the next decade. I think that's actually what the member is getting at. You know, Mr. Speaker, I had the privilege of serving as Minister of Transportation for a couple of years, and it was very clear to me that the infrastructure deficit across this province is manifest in a couple of ways. One is, Mr. Speaker, that we have not had enough transit built in our urban centres across the province for at least 25 years, Mr. Speaker. And secondly, that the municipal infrastructure, our roads and our bridges across the province, Mr. Speaker, of which there are 13,000, need attention. And we need to make sure that there is dedicated funding for that infrastructure in our urban centres and in our rural and small town communities, Mr. Speaker.
Back to the Premier. Premier, we learned long ago that you ought not to make assumptions. But Premier, that's not a real conversation with me or the people of Ontario. It's not real democracy either. That's just lip service. I hear from constituents from my riding and from across the province that they can't afford another Liberal-NDP tax hike. I hear from my constituents that are moving west to escape the economic failure of your new government. Premier, a conversation is a two-way street. You've been doing a lot of talking. It's time to actually start listening. Premier, I know champagne socialism is your drink of choice when you meet with your member from Hamilton Centre. But it's time for both of you to stand up, put down your mimosas, and help protect hard-working people of this province from another tax grab and strengthen the Taxpayer Protection Act.
Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Thank you, Premier.
Well, Mr. Speaker, drawing on my capacity as a former teacher of English as a second language, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to give an A to that question for creativity, Mr. Speaker. Me with the mimosa, I don't know, not so sure. Mr. Speaker, we are committed to bringing in a budget that acknowledges the needs of this province, Mr. Speaker, that acknowledges that being fiscally responsible is absolutely essential if we are going to be able to continue to provide the services that people in this province need, Mr. Speaker. Education and health care and investment in infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, because I would say that infrastructure is one of the fundamental conditions for economic growth. And I would expect that the member opposite, given the rural and vast riding that he represents, that he would actually be supportive of us making sure that infrastructure is in place for all of his constituents so that goods can move, so that they can get to work, so that their infrastructure is maintained.
Thank you. New question, the member from London Fanshawe.
Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Training College and University. We know